There comes a moment in life when you realize that thinking harder, stressing more, and trying to control everything only leads to exhaustion, not clarity. True peace begins when you surrender, when you stop forcing answers and start trusting the deeper wisdom that governs this universe. You are not here to figure it all out with your limited mind. You are here to align, to trust, and to allow. The universe is far more intelligent than we can imagine. And when you let the universe think for you, life becomes a dance instead of a struggle. Your mind is one of the most powerful tools you have been given in this life. It can help you imagine, plan, solve problems, and create beauty in the world. It helps you navigate reality, interpret your experiences, and even protect you when you're in danger. But there is a gentle truth we often forget. Your mind is a tool. It is not the source of your life, your worth, or your true power. The source is something far greater than the mind. It is the loving energy of the universe itself. It is the deep wisdom that flows through every cell of your body and every blade of grass. It is the stillness that exists behind your thoughts, the peace that emerges when your mind quiets down. And it is from this source that your greatest clarity, creativity, and healing truly come. So many of us live in our heads, thinking that if we just think long enough or hard enough, we'll finally figure everything out. We stay up late rethinking conversations, analyzing every detail, trying to control what happens next. But this only leads to more stress and confusion, because the mind was never meant to carry the full weight of life's journey. It was meant to assist, not to lead. There's a reason your mind often feels overwhelmed. It's because it's trying to do a job it was never designed for. Your mind doesn't know the future. It doesn't know the full picture. It only knows what it's already learned. So when you ask it to solve problems rooted in the unknown, it spins in circles. It creates doubt, fear, and worry. Not because it's broken, but because it's trying to protect you using only what it knows from the past. But you are not limited to your past. You are not limited to your thoughts. You are a spiritual being with access to the infinite. And when you quiet the mind, when you stop identifying with every thought that crosses your awareness, you begin to feel something more true, more powerful, and more peaceful. You begin to feel the source within you. This source is not loud or aggressive. It doesn't fight for your attention like fearful thoughts do. Instead, it whispers. It feels like peace. It comes through in stillness. It comes through when you breathe and let go. It is the soft but unwavering knowing that you are safe, that all is well, and that you don't have to figure it all out alone. When you stop over-identifying with your mind, you create space. And in that space, clarity arises. You may suddenly feel inspired to take action, not from a place of panic, but from inner guidance. You may see a situation differently, not through fear, but through love. You may realize that what you thought was a problem was actually an opportunity in disguise. There is nothing wrong with thinking. Thinking is useful. Planning is helpful. Logic and reason have their place. But they are not the highest intelligence you have access to. Your highest intelligence comes from connection, from your connection to life, to your heart, and to the present moment. And the more you trust in that connection, the more peaceful and powerful your life becomes. Letting go of the mind's need to control doesn't mean you stop thinking. It means you start thinking from a different place, from a place of alignment rather than anxiety. You become the observer of your thoughts, not the prisoner of them. You use your mind as a servant to your heart, not a master over your life. Imagine waking up each morning without rushing into worry. Imagine starting your day not with a racing mind, but with a calm breath and a silent affirmation. I allow life to guide me today. I trust the wisdom within. From that place, you are not react creating. You are not surviving. You are thriving. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need to calculate every step or figure out every outcome. You simply need to return to yourself, to your center, and remember you are connected to a source that knows exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. So let your mind be the tool it was meant to be. Use it with kindness, guide it gently, thank it for helping you, but don't worship it. Don't let it become the only voice you listen to. There is a deeper wisdom available to you. And when you quiet the noise of the mind, that wisdom rises to the surface like sunlight through clouds. You are more than your thoughts. You are more than your beliefs. You are life itself. Trust in that. And let the universe think through you, love through you, and live through you. One peaceful moment at a time. Surrender is often misunderstood in a world that values control, dominance, and constant striving. We're taught to push harder, try more, do better, and never give up. And while perseverance has its place, many people confuse surrender with weakness or failure. But in truth, surrender is not defeat. It is divine partnership. It is the moment when you step out of the struggle and into the flow. When you release the need to force outcomes and allow life to support you. True surrender is not about giving up. It's about giving over. It's about handing your worries, your fears, and your rigid expectations to a higher intelligence that sees the bigger picture. When you surrender, you don't become powerless. You become aligned. You step into a sacred relationship with the universe saying, I trust you. I don't need to control this anymore. I open myself to the highest good. And something beautiful happens when you do that. You feel lighter. Your breath deepens. Your heart softens. Suddenly, the tension that has been wrapped around your soul begins to dissolve. You feel connected again, not just to your dreams, but to the energy that breathes those dreams into being. That is the power of surrender. You see, when you're trying to force life, you're usually working from fear. Fear says, if I don't make it happen, it won't. Fear says, I have to do this alone. But love says something very different. Love says, I am not alone. I am supported. I am safe to let go. Surrender is a deep act of love. It is trust in motion. It says to the universe, I am ready to co-create, not control. I am ready to listen, not command. I am ready to allow, not resist. And when you show up with that kind of energy, miracles begin to unfold. Doors open. Timing aligns. People appear. Solutions arrive. Often better than anything you could have come up with on your own. We often believe that by surrendering, we are risking failure. But the truth is, trying to do everything through control is what wears us down. When we try to manipulate life to fit our exact timeline and picture, we limit the universe. We close ourselves off from the magic that lives in the unknown. Surrender opens us up again. It allows life to surprise us, to bless us, to lead us towards something more beautiful than our plans. This doesn't mean you stop taking action. Surrender doesn't make you passive. In fact, it empowers you to take inspired action, action that is guided, not panicked. You stop doing things out of desperation and start doing things from a place of peace. You stop hustling blindly and begin moving with purpose. Sometimes the hardest thing to surrender is timing. We want what we want, and we want it now. But divine timing operates on a higher level. What you're waiting for may not be denied. It may just be delayed so that it can arrive in the right way, at the right time for your highest good. When you surrender, you stop pushing against divine timing and start trusting in divine wisdom. Surrender is also about letting go of attachment to outcomes. It's saying, I want this, but I trust that if something better is meant for me, I will receive that instead. That is real faith. That is a relationship with the universe built on trust, not conditions. And what happens when you surrender over and over again? You begin to experience peace as your natural state. You learn to live in flow. You recognize that you were never meant to carry everything by yourself. You are part of something greater. You are loved, held, and guided by a force that wants you to succeed, but in the most graceful, harmonious, and soul-aligned way. You can surrender your worry and still be responsible. You can surrender your fears and still make empowered choices. Surrender is not the absence of strength. It is strength guided by wisdom. It is action without resistance. It is movement without struggle. When you wake up each morning, you can begin your day with this sacred invitation. I surrender this day to the flow of divine order. I do not walk alone. I am guided by something greater than me. And I trust that everything is working out for my highest good. Let this become your truth. Let surrender become your daily practice. And you will discover that life isn't something you have to wrestle with. It is something you get to dance with. You don't have to fight the current. You only need to float with faith, because surrender is not the end. It is the beginning of everything good. Overthinking is one of the most common ways we unknowingly block the very things we are trying to manifest. When you ask the universe for something, a desire, a dream, a new beginning, there is an energetic process that begins. The moment you ask with clarity and feeling, the universe begins responding. But if your mind is constantly spinning, doubting, analyzing, and questioning that process, you are creating static in the signal. You are interfering with the flow. Manifestation is not just about what you want. It's about the vibration you hold while waiting for it. When you overthink, you are not in a receiving state. You are not aligned with peace or trust. You are tangled in fear. And fear sends a very different message to the universe than faith does. The energy of fear says, I don't trust this will happen. I don't believe I'm supported. I must figure it all out myself. And the universe simply mirrors that back. Your mind loves to feel in control. It wants certainty. It wants proof. So when you plant the seed of a new intention, your mind often tries to take over. It wants to know how, when, why, and what's next. But manifestation doesn't work through mental logic alone. It works through energetic alignment. That means the more you obsess, the more you delay. Think of it like this: imagine placing an online order. You select the item, pay for it, and get a confirmation email. You trust that it's on its way. You don't call the store every hour asking if they've shipped it. You don't second guess the process. You simply know it's coming. That's how manifestation works when you stop overthinking. You ask, you align, and then you allow. But when you overthink, it's like placing an order and then constantly changing it, canceling it, or doubting it's real. You confuse the signal. You say one thing, but your energy says another. And the universe always responds to your dominant energy, not just your words. It's important to remember that your thoughts are creative. Every thought sends a message. So if you're constantly thinking about what could go wrong, what isn't working, or what hasn't shown up yet, you're not leaving space for what can go right. You're feeding the absence of your desire instead of the presence of it. Many people say they are manifesting, but they are really worrying in disguise. They say the right affirmations, they write their vision boards, but inside they are tense, impatient, and doubtful. That energy cancels out the affirmation, because the universe doesn't just hear your words. It feels your vibration. The antidote to overthinking is presence. When you are truly present, you're not obsessing about the past or the future. You are grounded. You are open. You are receptive. And that is when manifestation flows the most easily. When you stop trying to chase your desires and instead become the kind of person who naturally attracts them. Ask yourself this: if I already had what I want, how would I feel right now? Then live from that feeling. If your desire were already fulfilled, you would feel calm, you would feel joyful, you wouldn't be worried or tense. You would be relaxed, knowing that all is well. That's the energy that allows manifestation to land in your life. Sometimes overthinking is just a habit of fear that hasn't been healed yet. It's okay. You don't have to shame yourself for it. Just gently notice when your mind is spinning and choose again. Choose to return to peace. Choose to return to trust. Breathe deeply and remind yourself, it's not my job to know how. It's my job to believe it's possible. You can rewire your thinking through gentle awareness. Each time you catch yourself obsessing or doubting, pause. Say to yourself, I don't need to control this. I trust the universe is already working it out. And then shift your focus to something that brings you joy. Something that raises your vibration. Manifestation is not about micromanaging life. It's about becoming a magnet. And magnets don't chase, they attract. So the more you can rest, breathe, and let go, the more easily your desires will come to you. Trust that what is meant for you cannot miss you. Trust that delays are not denials. Trust that the universe is always listening. Let your overthinking be replaced by inner peace. Let your doubt be softened by faith. Let your need to know be replaced by your willingness to feel good right now. Because when you feel good now, you are no longer waiting for your desire. You are matching its frequency. And that is when miracles happen. Asking is a sacred act. When you ask the universe for something, whether it's a new opportunity, healing, love, peace, or abundance, you are engaging in divine conversation. You are saying, I am ready to receive. I am open to guidance. I trust there is something greater that hears me. But the power of asking does not lie only in the words. It lies in the energy behind the ask. The clearer your intention, the stronger your signal. And once you've asked with clarity, your next step is just as important. You must let go. Many people ask, but they don't release. They hold on tightly to their desires, obsessing over when and how it will arrive. They keep checking for signs, analyzing outcomes, and wondering if they've asked the right way. But asking from that energy doesn't open the door to receiving, it clogs it. The universe doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to alignment, trust, and surrender. When you ask clearly, it's like planting a seed in rich soil. You don't dig up the seed every day to see if it's growing. You water it. You trust the process, and you allow time to do its work. The same principle applies to manifestation. Once you've placed your desire into the hands of the universe, you must step back with faith and say, I trust this, or something better is already on its way. Clarity is a powerful attractor. When you know what you want, why you want it, and how it would feel to receive it, you create a focused, energetic message. You are not scattering your intention. You are directing it like a beam of light. Vague wishes create vague results, but a clear, heart-centered ask creates a powerful ripple in the energy field. But here's where many people get stuck. They ask from lack. They ask with energy that says, I need this or I'll be unhappy. That neediness carries a vibration of fear and scarcity. It says, I don't have it yet, and I'm afraid I won't, twat. And that vibration keeps the very thing you want at a distance. The key is to ask from a place of love, not fear. Ask from worthiness, not desperation. Once you've made your request, don't hold your breath. Don't pace the floor of your mind waiting for a response. Trust that your words were heard. Trust that the universe has already begun rearranging things in your favor. This is where letting go becomes a spiritual practice. It is not passive, it is deeply active. You are choosing to believe in timing that is wiser than yours, in solutions you may not yet see, and in outcomes that may arrive in unexpected ways. Letting go means releasing your grip on how it should happen. The universe doesn't need your micromanagement. It needs your cooperation. Sometimes your desire may not show up in the exact package you expected, but it will carry the essence of what you asked for, and often much more. That's the beauty of surrender. It creates room for surprises, blessings, and miracles. Letting go also means not tying your happiness to the arrival of your manifestation. Live your life now. Be joyful now. Find peace in the waiting. The energy of impatience and frustration only signals resistance. But when you live as if it's already done, you attract it faster because you are vibrating in the frequency of already having. If doubt arises, don't panic. Doubt is just the mind doing what it's been conditioned to do. Gently bring your focus back to trust. Remind yourself that delays are not denials. Sometimes things take longer because the universe is lining up circumstances more perfectly than you could have imagined. Keep saying, everything is unfolding in divine timing. I trust the process. When you ask clearly and let go completely, you create space. And in that space, answers come. Signs appear, inspiration flows. You are no longer trying to pull your desire toward you. You are allowing it to meet you because you're no longer blocking the path with worry. Ask as if you know the universe is listening, because it is. Speak your desires with clarity, confidence, and then let go. Not because you don't care, but because you care enough to trust. You care enough to rest. You care enough to receive. This is the art of manifestation, clear intention, followed by peaceful surrender. You don't have to figure it all out. You only have to ask, believe, and allow. And in that sacred allowing, everything you desire begins its journey home to you. There is a deep wisdom that lives within you, one that doesn't shout or demand, but waits patiently in stillness. It doesn't rush. It doesn't compete with the world's noise. It doesn't argue with your fear. It simply is. This wisdom is the voice of your intuition, your higher self, your connection to the universe. And it speaks most clearly when you are quiet enough to hear it. The answers you seek do not come through worry, force, or frantic thinking. They come in silence. Most people are so busy thinking, talking, planning, and reacting that they rarely pause to listen. The mind is loud, full of cluttered thoughts, past stories, and future fears. It's constantly trying to solve, analyze, and control. But spiritual truth lives beyond the mind. And the more noise we create, internally and externally, the harder it is to hear that truth. You may find yourself asking, why haven't I received the answer yet? Or, why don't I know what to do? And yet, you may be drowning out the very guidance you long to receive. The universe is always communicating with you, not through panic or pressure, but through peace. The language of the divine is calm, gentle, and steady. It is not dramatic. It's subtle and clear, like a soft breeze brushing your soul. Silence creates space. In silence, your nervous system can calm, your breath can deepen, your heart can soften. You stop reacting and begin receiving. In that still space, the right thought rises, the right word comes, the knowing surfaces, not from effort, but from presence. When you create moments of silence in your day, you reconnect with the source of your being. You begin to hear whispers of clarity that were always there, just waiting for attention. These whispers might come as a sudden insight, a peaceful feeling, a simple lice, or no, in your body. You don't have to force it. You only have to be willing to listen without distraction. Too often, we look outside for answers. We ask everyone else what we should do. We search for signs in a constant state of noise and stimulation, but answers rarely come when we are chasing them. They come when we surrender, when we breathe, when we go within. The guidance you need is not hiding from you. It is waiting for you to slow down. Think about the ocean. When the surface is stormy, you can't see what's beneath. But when the water is still, everything becomes clear. Your inner world works the same way. The more you can quiet the storms of worry, overthinking, and fear, the more clearly you will see what was always true. This is not about running away from life. It's about returning to yourself. Even a few minutes of intentional silence each day can shift everything. Turn off the noise. Step away from the screen. Close your eyes. Listen to your breath. Place your hand on your heart and say, I am open to the wisdom within. Wait. Be still. Let the silence hold you. At first, it might feel uncomfortable. Silence can bring up all the feelings we've been avoiding. But stay with it. Underneath the restlessness is peace. Underneath the chatter is clarity. The more time you spend in silence, the more familiar it becomes, and the more you begin to trust it. Answers that come in silence are different. They don't just solve a problem, they soothe your spirit. They come with a sense of ease. You don't have to wrestle with them. You feel their truth. You may not always understand why they come the way they do, but you'll know they are right for you. That's the power of divine guidance. It brings not only direction, but peace. Let silence become a part of your daily practice. Make space for it. Even if it's just 5 minutes, you don't need fancy rituals, just a quiet room, a breath, a willingness to listen. You can sit in silence, walk in silence, even eat in silence. The point is to become present, fully, peacefully present. You don't have to chase your next answer. You only need to create the space where it can find you. Let the silence speak. Let it fill you. Let it remind you that the universe has always been guiding you. And in that stillness, remember, you already know the way. You were just waiting to be quiet enough to hear it. There is a rhythm to life, a divine flow that carries everything into being with perfect timing and grace. When you are in harmony with that rhythm, you don't have to struggle to make things happen. You don't have to chase, beg, or exhaust yourself trying to control outcomes. Instead, you move from a place of clarity and peace. This is what it means to live in alignment. And when you are in alignment, action becomes effortless. Alignment means your thoughts, feelings, energy, and intentions are working together. You're not saying one thing while feeling another. You're not asking for abundance while focusing on lack. You're not declaring trust while feeding worry. When you are aligned, everything within you points in the same direction. You become like a magnet attracting experiences, people, and opportunities that match your vibration. So many people believe success requires constant pushing. They believe they must hustle every hour, solve every problem, and figure it all out alone. But that belief is rooted in fear, not trust. When you live from fear, even the smallest action feels heavy. You second-guess yourself. You delay. You burn out. But when you are aligned with your purpose, your truth, and the energy of the universe, the right actions feel natural. You don't have to force them. They rise from within you. Effortless action does not mean doing nothing. It means you are moved by inspiration, not obligation. It means you are led by intuition, not panic. You might still be busy, but you are no longer overwhelmed. You're energized, not drained. The things you once resisted become things you now welcome, because they feel aligned with who you truly are. When you are in alignment, you don't act from a place of proving your worth. You know you are already worthy. You are not chasing validation. You are living your truth. You are not hoping to be chosen. You already choose yourself. And from that place of self-honor, your actions become expressions of love, not desperation. You might notice that during times of inner peace, life seems to cooperate with you. Traffic clears. The phone rings at the right time. An email arrives with the exact opportunity you needed. These are not coincidences. They are reflections of your inner alignment. Life mirrors your vibration. When you are aligned, the outer world adjusts to meet your energy. Alignment is not something you find once and keep forever. It's a daily practice. You return to it through self-awareness, through stillness, through choosing again when you've drifted off course. It doesn't require perfection. It simply requires honesty. Ask yourself often, is this action coming from love or fear? Am I forcing or am I flowing? Let your body be your guide. Alignment feels light, open, and clear. Misalignment feels tight, stressful, and confusing. You don't have to make every decision with your head. Sometimes, the most powerful guidance comes from your heart. When your mind is quiet and your energy is balanced, you will naturally know what to do next. You won't have to overthink. The next step will feel obvious. That is the beauty of effortless action. It arises from inner knowing, not mental pressure. The truth is, life was never meant to be a struggle. Struggle is often a sign that we are working against ourselves. We are trying to force something that isn't aligned, or we are ignoring the wisdom within. But once you pause, breathe, and come back to your center, everything changes. From that place, even a small step has power. Even a quiet act can create ripples of change. Effortless action doesn't mean life is always easy. Challenges may still arise. But when you are aligned, you face them with strength and grace. You don't get stuck in resistance. You trust that every experience is part of your evolution. You don't ask, why is this happening to me? You ask, how is this helping me grow? And with that shift, you reclaim your power. When you live in alignment, your life becomes a reflection of your soul. You are no longer chasing happiness. It radiates from within you. You don't need to control everything because you trust that life supports you. You don't need to push because the path opens in front of you. Take a deep breath and come home to yourself. Let go of the noise. Let go of the pressure. Let your energy rise. When you align with your truth, your values, and your joy, the universe meets you there. And from that sacred space, every action becomes a dance. Every step becomes lighter. And life begins to flow in ways more beautiful than you ever imagined.